Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I wanted to go over boundaries that change how women treat you. I think this is really important because nowadays I'm seeing this more and more and more, and it's actually really frustrating. Women and men treat each other poorly. I don't know if it's more common nowadays or if it's just like social media. It's all over social media or social media is like influencing them. I don't know. But people have lost the idea of how to treat one another. Like people are treating each other so poorly. It's leading to like things that are on the news, like criminal charges, right? We see women are doing terrible things to their husbands. We're seeing teachers doing like terrible things to like young students. We're seeing horrible things, right? And they're so frightening, and I would never want any of you guys to be in a situation like that. And so one of the ways to vet these potential abnormal women, like ladies, out, and this can also work the other way around. If you're a woman and you want to vet out potential abnormal men, this can work as well. These things are important. You have to have some of these boundaries emotionally, physically, etc. to protect yourself from, you don't want to be one of those people who get taken advantage of, hurt, and it's scary. And I think a lot of people are avoiding relationships altogether because they can't tell the difference between someone who's abnormal and who's normal. And setting these boundaries is going to help you vet those things out so you can see how they respond. And the first one is actually an emotional boundary. You want to be mindful of where your reactions are really coming from. And the reason why this is important is because if your reaction is justified, a person who's emotionally healthy, especially if they're calming down and things like that, they will meet you in the middle. But if your emotions are not justified, they might react poorly and you might think they're abnormal when in actuality, your emotions are just coming from a place that shouldn't be placed onto this person. You might be projecting things. You might be learning things from different areas. And when you are a person like this, and I'm calling you guys out because a lot of you guys are like this, you'll never meet a normal person because normal people actually run away from things like this, but abnormal people can tolerate it better. So you might think that by you being very reactive and setting certain emotional behaviors and boundaries, etc., is going to attract healthy people, not if the emotions are coming from an abnormal place. Like if you're getting upset that she's doing something that she didn't do, but you think all women do that, or you think all men do that, and you're getting upset about that, and this person who's healthy, they know normal people don't do that. So they might avoid you. And then you might think, oh, this person is like, look how like disinterested they are. All women are like that. All men are like that. And it's just leading you to think even more abnormal. When in actuality, if you were mindful and thought, okay, maybe I shouldn't have been so harsh about how I said it. Maybe I shouldn't have said it in such a definitive way. I didn't even give them time to explain. However, if you are reacting because maybe it's something like she called you in the middle of your meeting and you did tell her it's a meeting, but she called you a couple times and then she's like, you know what, that was terrible of me. It slipped my mind, but I should not have done that. I'm so sorry. And you're rightfully upset. Hey, I told you I'm in a meeting. Don't just keep calling me. She's really, mindful and she's really sorry because your reaction is normal. It's in place and she's showing you a normal response. But if you're reacting about something that's not normal, her response is going to be disinterest or detachment. But it's not because she's abnormal. It's because your reaction is. And so an emotional boundary is really important. You want to be mindful of where your reactions are coming from. But another thing is you don't want to let her be able to manipulate your emotions either. And so you want to be really mindful of who you are as a person and where all these sub emotions are as well. And what I mean by sub emotions is sometimes these emotions are not coming from you. They're coming from something that you learn from something else. And so a sub point of this is you want to vet out information. And yes, that even means this video. You are the person who knows your life best. And if you truly feel like the person that you're listening to is not giving you proper or sound advice, maybe don't listen. And I'm going to give an example that I do for myself. It might not work for everybody, okay? If I'm learning long-term relationship advice, I'm in a long-term relationship, I'm going to ask married women, married men, people who are in long-term relationships. I'm not going to listen to that podcaster who has not been married for 20 years and they're telling you all men are like this. This is how you get women. This is how you get men. And I find that so interesting that a lot of these really famous, and I don't even look at these stuff, but some of you guys bring it up. A lot of these really famous, like, I guess, what are they called? Dating experts or something? A lot of them are not in a relationship. Have you guys ever noticed that? Maybe I'm like really behind. I'm not very like engaged in social media, but like they're giving all of this relationship advice and they're not in a relationship or they've been divorced. And sure, that's good advice, but isn't that just advice how to stay single? But it's like painted as how to be in a relationship, but in actuality all it does is help them be more single. Because no matter what, even as professionals, like I'm a licensed therapist, I still am going to be biased. There are certain populations I don't work with simply because I know I don't understand that population. I'm not going to tell you what those populations are, but if you guys look at my profile, you guys can already probably tell some populations I don't work well with. Actually, I will give an example, but I'm afraid it'll make some people mad. It doesn't mean I don't judge, but when I work with couples, I work with couples who have more, I work with a lot of couples, more traditional like relationship dynamics, like what is it called? Polygamy? Polyamory. Sorry, I think polygamy is the wrong word. I don't work with relationships that have that type of dynamic because I don't have a lot of research or understanding with them. I'm not judging those people, but it's completely opposite of what I learned. So it would be a disservice to my patients if I sat around saying, oh, I know all about these dynamics. I don't have any friends who have that dynamic. My relationship's not like that. Most people in my area don't have a clue what that even is. It's very rare in this area. And so it's just, I wouldn't sit around saying that. And so if a person is giving you advice about something that they don't seem to practice in their own life, I would say be careful of that. Example, financial advice. Would you want to take financial advice from somebody who has like mountains and mountains of debt? Be careful of that, because if your reactions are coming from that abnormal like circumstance, you will also become abnormal as well. And you won't be able to set those boundaries properly with women. The next one is you want to communicate clearly regarding behaviors that need to be addressed. You want to communicate calmly about rude comments, sarcasm, dismissive behavior. Very simple. You don't have to scream. You don't need to get to that point, right? Because you are a respectful gentleman. You don't need to scream at a woman, right? Rather, because also you don't want her to cross your boundary either, right? We were just talking about earlier, you don't want someone to mistreat you. You can be a great guy, but even a great guy can be pushed to his breaking point. I don't want any of you guys to be there. So you can say, I don't appreciate being spoken to like that. Please keep that in mind. She does it again. I mentioned to you, I don't like being spoken to like that. I think this conversation ends here. It's okay. You didn't scream. You didn't do anything bad. You didn't insult her. All you said was you gave her one chance, and she didn't listen. So now this conversation is over. You didn't have to go all the way. Maybe she's your girlfriend and you're not saying, okay, we break up. If you've been with her for like 3 years, no. But unless you want to, that's up to you to decide. But you definitely said this conversation is over. It teaches her that she can't talk like that to you. If she wants to have a conversation with you, she has to respect you. And every single time, shut that conversation off. And if it gets to a point where it continues to be disrespectful, why are you with someone who disrespects you? That's a question for you to answer. I can't answer that. The next one is your time is valuable. So when you communicate with loved ones, etc., you want to communicate where you stand on lateness, flakiness, last minute cancellations. Now, I'm probably not the best to talk about this because I'm way too specific about these things. In fact, I think I'm way too much of a stickler of time. I'm a person that if you show up on time, you're late. And I know people don't like that. That's just the way I was raised, and that's the way I am. And when people are late, it really bothers me. But that's why I'm like not the best, because I need to be a little bit more flexible about this. But some of you guys are way too flexible about this. I'm so rigid about this. It's like really bad. But some of you guys let people show up late. You let people cancel late, and you just tolerate that continuously day in and day out. Some people are like this, sure, but I just can't stand people like this. Personally, me, even if you're my friend, if you show up late, I'm just not going to spend as much time with you because I have things to do. Like, I have taken time out of my very busy schedule to do this with you, likely for you. So if you show up late, sorry, not going to happen. That's how I feel. Some folks would say that's strict, and I know it is, and I'm working on it. But with you guys who are a little bit more flexible, it's really important that you set some of those boundaries. Say, I don't like last minute cancellations, or if you last minute cancel, let me know the next time you need to reschedule or how we can reschedule, because I want you to value my time. Communicate that to some extent to loved ones, relationships, friends, so they kind of know where you are about this. Unfortunately, I have built a reputation with my friends and my family that I don't like people being late, which people don't totally like, but interesting enough, people do show up to things that I host and things like that on time because they know I don't tolerate it. Even with Thanksgiving, a lot of people, I don't like when people show up late and I don't like when people are waiting for their food, like they can't eat the food because someone showed up late. No, if you show up late, I'm not going to not feed you, but you will get cold leftovers because everyone else showed up on time. They get the warm food. You can warm it in the microwave if you want, but I'm not going to do it. I cooked all this, for example, and everyone else showed up. They get to eat. You're late, that's your problem. That's me, but people end up not showing up late to things I do because of that. So just keep that in mind. The next one is be mindful of emotional manipulation and how that translates into your behaviors. I'm not saying this is you being manipulative, okay? I'm saying that you don't want it to be such a point where now you're playing games because the other person's playing games. You don't want to fight that game either. You can say, I'm open to a conversation, but I need you to be direct because I feel like you're playing games with me. You don't have to say you're playing games with me. I feel like you're playing games with me. Can you clarify? Why are you dodging this conversation? What's going on? I'm very confused. I'm taking it like this. Whatever it is, you want to be clear. You always want to show up as a person who has integrity because whatever this person is, whoever this person is, if they don't have integrity, it's going to be very clear how different they are compared to you. And that already shows you exactly what you need to know about this person. The next one is you want to maintain your own life. This boundary just means your happiness doesn't revolve around one person. You have hobbies, you have friendships, you have goals. You're not dropping everything on the demand that she's crying and she's had a bad day or whatever it is. Or please, I know some of you guys do this. Her boyfriend and her got into a fight, so now she's crying and you're going to pick her up and try and save her and, cash app her or whatever, or buy her food. If you want to, that's up to you. But I will just let you know, she probably doesn't respect you. And then as soon as her boyfriend's in a better mood, she's going to go back with him. Now, I get it. I get that some relationships do start this way. I've had patients where their relationship actually started this way. It's just, it is what it is. It's up to you to decide if you want to be used or you feel like this relationship has that potential. That's up to you. I'm not going to judge you, but I just would, recommend that you don't always do that because you're going to get hurt most of the time. And it's not a good dynamic. I'm saying this for your sake. It's up to you to decide, but I would suggest that don't drop everything on demand of another person. Keep those hobbies, keep friendships, keep your goals, and don't let that all go for one person, especially a person who doesn't treat you well. And the last one is you want to be calm in general, not reactive. Everybody's reactive sometimes. It's okay. But you want to try and be as calm as possible because if you are reactive, even if you're reacting because she's being manipulative or controlling or whatever it is, people who are manipulative, they will use that against you. And I don't want you guys to get into a situation where you're fighting for your integrity about someone who doesn't even, is not even worth explaining it to. In general, try and stay calm as much as possible to get yourself out of these sticky situations, okay? And so I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.